Ini nomor 3 bertujuan
leaving for Jakarta will be departed at 21:45 local time. Garuda Indonesia. Please board the aircraft through gate number 6. Thank you.
Atur pilihan Majanuri Idadani penumpang Air Asia. Nomor penerbangan KZP.
Perhatian, para penumpang pesawat udara Citylink Indonesia dengan nomor penerbangan KE689 tujuan Jakarta dipersilakan naik ke pesawat udara.
Pesawat saking pintu nomor papat matur susun.
due to the aircraft weight and balance restrictions. Secure your luggage to
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Silakan switch bottom line dari bergabung dari Airbus 320 to undersea flight number 27513 destination to Jakarta. And first one, because everybody delay to let them arrival of the aircraft from the previous sector.
Use the 7513 bound to Jakarta. Mobile flight 25 must be switched off for in 5 months. All drop second aircraft is ready for departure. Kevin Cromwell's cross check. Anda ke posisi semula dan membuka penutup jendela di samping Anda. Merokok termasuk rokok elektrik adalah dilarang di dalam pesawat. Semua tamu yang membawa rokok elektrik harus mematikan.
karena akan menghambat evakuasi. Do not inflate your life vest until you are at the exit, as this would slow down the evacuation flow. Baju pelampung ini mempunyai satu pipa tiup. Jika perlu, maybe behind you. Sewaktu evakuasi, tinggalkan barang-barang Anda. During evacuation, leave your hand luggage. Inform that destroying, disabling, or tampering with the smoke detector in the lavatory is prohibited by the Indonesian government.
part of international airport Jakarta. The weather on the rest of our journey is relatively good Bali, and weather in Jakarta is relatively good with a speed of 4 kilometers and a pressure of 38 degrees Celsius. We are expected to arrive at Jakarta at 5 minutes to 10 p.m. local time. There's a 1 hour time difference between Jakarta and Bali where the time, and Jakarta is 1 hour behind of the time of Bali. We have been willing to say thank you for flying with Asia Indonesia. We hope that you enjoy today's flight and welcome to Jakarta.
Para tamu yang terhormat, kita
Dan habis itu kembali.
Para tamu terhormat, kita telah mendarat Bandara Udara Internasional Soekarno-Hatta di Tangerang, Banten. Dear guests, we have landed at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport of Tangerang, Banten. For your safety, please remain seated until the seatbelt sign is switched off. Be careful in opening the overhead compartment, and please ensure you have all personal belongings with you before leaving the aircraft. It was a pleasure having you on board. We look forward to serving you again soon. AirAsia Indonesia.
Saya lagi nunggu.
Terima kasih. Your attention please. Flight Indonesia Air Asia on flight number QC